the kids will just be on their own. And currently at the junior high, I am a mentor. This is my first year in the position, and as we piloted, I volunteered and I said, I want to know what this model is really going to look like before we scale it out, because we have 120 7th grade students doing this model right now. And with those 120 students, they each have a mentor. So our teachers have taken on 20 to 25 students, but there were some extra students, and they asked if anybody would volunteer to come in to help the students. I volunteered just because I wanted to see how it was going to work, if it was going to work, and what the student experience was going to be like. So as I came in, I have my 12 mentees that I meet with once a week. The greatest component, I think, for this whole model is the mentoring piece, because we're able to communicate with the kids. In our survey, we found that our students felt that they had no connection with any of the teachers at school, that there was no one that they could really talk to. So as I meet with my students weekly and I build a relationship with them, part of the platform is that they set a goal for college. So that makes their instruction a little bit more relevant, because they've set a goal for college. And then we meet weekly to see where they're at on their learning continuum. I mentor them through their weekly and monthly goals, and we always tie back to their college goal. Some of these students had never even considered the thought of going to college. So as I talk to them about setting a goal for college, it gives them a vision, which some 7th graders, some kids don't even get until high school. So as we've grown with them through the last 9 weeks, and we sit and reflect, and because we visit weekly, and we reflect on what's been happening in the school, because this has been such a big shift for them. Initially, they all wanted to go back to the old traditional classroom. And why? Because like the little girl told me, I don't want to think. I want the teacher just to tell me what I need to know so that I can pass the test. Now, I think it took about the first 8 weeks for the kids to finally realize and say, oh wow, it's on me now. It's not the teacher's responsibility to teach me, it's on me to learn. But it did take about 8 weeks for this to happen. And now the kids look back and I ask them, do you want to go back to the old traditional way? And they don't. And why is that? And as I ask them, because I'm reflecting myself also, I ask them, why don't you want to go back? And they say, because now I'm in control. I'm the one who decides. It's on me is what eventually comes down to, where they have to admit that it's on me. It's not the teacher anymore, it's on me. And it's amazing to see these kids that have never even considered going to college because they felt, I don't know if they felt disenfranchised, they felt that they had no connection. Now they are once those kids take control, it's a different world for them. And as an instructional leader, you look at them and you realize that for years we've been spoon feeding them. Now they're taking charge. They decide how far they want to go. They do have checkpoints within their platform. They have a learning continuum with checkpoints, and we meet with them to make sure that they're staying on track. But they're the ones that we can't do it for them. We can be there, we can support them. The teachers do interruptions within the classroom, but the kids are taking charge, and it's been amazing to see where the majority of these kids have failed. We didn't select our students. The parents opted in with the 127th graders that we have. So they opted in, and the parents knew what was going to be expected of them. The kids knew what was going to be expected of them, but I think until they actually got into it, they didn't realize how much work it was going to take. And I don't think us as a staff, we had any idea how it would evolve. So it was a little terrifying at the beginning. Teachers wanted the kids to put away their devices and go back to the old way of teaching, just because they were terrified that they didn't believe that the kids could take charge. Even myself, I wondered if the kids really would take charge, because these children don't go home to anyone to support them. They don't have parents that have been to college. They don't have brothers and sisters, anyone to coach them through it. So through the mentoring piece, I think we've been able to support them and make them believe in themselves that they can do it. It's been a process, it's been scary, but now that the kids have actually transformed their way of thinking and taken charge, it's inspiring. it's just amazing to see that happening with a group of kids that had never even thought about going to college. At our high school, our implementation plan, right now we just have one 12th grade pilot group that's doing government economics. Our goal is that next year we are already starting to meet. So just like we heard earlier, we need to continue. How are you going to keep growing and making sure that this is going to be sustainable? We are already in the planning process to include 9th grade and 12th grade. We have some teachers that will be visiting Pasadena ISD because they have a larger cohort of teachers that are already implemented blended learning. They will be visiting in January, so as we start to scale out, we're already in the planning process. Teachers have already been surveyed, teachers have already opted in at the high school. The goal is that by 2018-19, that 9th through 12th grade will all be on a flex model. Then by 2019-20, that all of the content areas, including CTE, so although we have some connections with TSTC and some of the local community colleges, we want to include those in part of our flex model. And ultimately the goal is 100% flex model for all high school students by 2021. Like I said earlier, 50% of our students work. Because we're such a high poverty area, many of our students work on the island, and many of them work at Louis' Backyard, the big restaurant on the island. They work till midnight, 1 o'clock closing, so it's very difficult for them to get them in at 8 o'clock in the morning. And so as we look at what we want to ask the state to give us some flexibility for our high school students, that's one of the things that we're looking for, because we think that our kids would still do the work if given the opportunity to do it at their own time, in their own place, and not have to be bound by the hours, the school hours that we have right now. Our expected outcomes is that if we have 100% flexible attendance schedule coupled with personalized learning, we'll have an increase in the level of academic discipline student rating. I mean, if we meet students where their needs are, we truly believe that we'll have an increase there. We'll have an increase in internship participation. We're coupling with some of the big businesses on the island and hoping that through those internships, our students that have never had a vision will get that vision for higher education. A decrease in course failure rates and an increase in enrollment in higher education. Ultimately, that's what we want our kids to be career and goal ready, and we felt that we weren't meeting the needs of our students. At our junior high, right now our flex model is just those 7th grade students, our pilot group. Our goal is next year 7th and 8th grade. Our 8th grade teachers are already going through and visiting those 7th grade classrooms because everybody else is traditional except for our 7th grade cohort. They're already visiting, they're on scheduled visits through those 7th grade classrooms so that they'll have a vision also. The goal, 6th through 8th in 2 years. And all math, all the content areas by 2021. Although right now we already have some teachers that have already started an online platform through the Google Classroom. I have a bilingual teacher that keeps, because I'm the instructional technology coordinator, I have a ESL teacher at the junior high who asked me, she says, I see what the kids are doing in those classrooms. I want to do that also. I want to motivate my students. I have 3 levels of students, language development in my classroom. What can I do? So we set up a Google Classroom and she's doing a station rotation. She's not doing a flex, but she's doing a station rotation already because she sees the excitement of the kids and the teachers in that 7th grade team. The PIJH expected outcomes, an increase in math performance because we started this, our math scores were very low at the junior high. A decreased placement in ISS. Right now, I can tell you that we have only had 1 student out of that cohort who's had discipline issues. And part of it is that they're focused, they're engaged, they're excited. And the 1 student that was in ISS, because you have that 1 student who you find playing a game or watching a video. But for the majority of those students, they're all engaged, they're excited that they're in charge, they're in control. So we've already had a huge decrease in ISS placement. Decrease students being bored. They're not bored. They're interested. They're excited about what they're doing. An increase in the number of students indicating that they have someone to talk to, and that's that mentoring piece. And I think that's one of the greatest components for us, is that mentoring piece. It's that human element, that idea that the teacher isn't necessary anymore. Yes, the teacher is necessary, because the teacher still holds those interruptions, and she pulls those small group instructions, and she does mentor. Our teachers were overwhelmed with their number of mentees. That's why some of us came in to help them.
Become shrinks and stuff.
Our elementary, right now, like I said, we have a piloted 3rd grade bilingual group and a piloted 4th grade math group. By next year, our goal is to have 3rd and 4th grade. 3rd grade, some of our 3rd grade teachers have already jumped on board. They're so excited when they saw the scores that 4th grade had, that our 3rd grade teachers, we have a teacher that already started flipping her classroom. And for the following year, we want 3rd through 5th grade station rotation and flipped. And we also want to include 1st and 2nd grade. With our pilot teachers, we already have teachers visiting those classrooms at the elementary schools, because it's a different world to go into a classroom where the students know what they're doing, why they're doing it, and that they are getting choice at the elementary school. And our goal is that we'll have flipped and station rotation models for all math classes, and we're struggling with the ELAR portion of it. We are looking to visit other schools where they are really doing it. At the ELAR, we're struggling at the elementary levels because of phonics and so much content. In the 4th grade, our writing teachers, or our ELAR teachers in 4th grade, are scared of losing time with writing. The responsibility of our assessment they have reading and writing, and we're trying to figure out the time for that. That's our struggle there. So we've been focusing on mathematics at the elementaries. Our elementary outcomes is to increase math performance. Last year, we weren't piloted yesterday, but last year we didn't pilot exactly, but we had some teachers that once our superintendent sent out an email and asked teachers who'd volunteer to start sort of pre-piloting. Those teacher scores were tremendously higher, and our level 3s, our greatest increase was at level 3s on STAR. Increase advanced level. Our 4th grade flipped classroom, I think, had 15% level 3s, which was tremendous for us because we were at a low performing school. A decreased number in after-school tutorials. We're having a hard time letting our teachers let go of the tutorials, to be honest with you, but that is our goal. And as we talk to our teachers about doing the tutoring during the station rotation, we're hoping that that will decrease. But at this point, elementary teachers are terrified of letting go and not requiring students to show up for tutoring. Our commitment is, when Dr. Garcia surveyed our teachers, 100% of the teachers said that they were willing. They know they're willing and ready to transform. We knew that there was a tremendous need to have a change in our instructional approach in Port Isabel. We do know that to make this transition successful and to scale it out, it's going to take additional devices at each campus. We're not a one-to-one campus. Unfortunately, we have to return a lot of our money to the state, unfortunately, so we're not at a one-to-one right now. We know that we need tremendous amounts of professional development, that our 7th grade cohort team and our 2 pilot teachers are being supported through the Raise Your Hand Texas grant. We have the new teacher project that has come in and done professional development with them. We give them a lot of support, but to scale out and bring on everybody else, we're going to need tremendous amounts of professional development. We do need additional online content with a learner management system. Right now, our pilot teachers are using Canvas, but it is just our pilot teachers. The rest of the teachers are out there just using the Google Classroom right now. We need to modernize our classrooms. The pilot classrooms through Raise Your Hand Texas do have amazing furniture in there. The room is a lot more available to the station rotation, the way that the desks are modular and the kids can move a lot more freely between them. But we do know that we need to